Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by now. Here's JP.
All righty then, welcome into a rousing edition of what will be a rousing edition of the JP Peterson Show on this Tuesday. P. Diddy's in jail. The assassin was clearly a CIA operative. And Mike Norvell is sticking with DJU. Which is more unbelievable? Take your pick.
Assassin. Would be assassin.
Would be assassin.
It didn't work.
Which is more unbelievable? We will debate today. Absolutely. Welcome, Tim Ham from our DSP affiliate. Yo, your doggie's there as well.
Oh.
I'm sure Tally will take her position here in just a moment. How you doing, partner?
Doing well. How are things in the Tampa Bay area?
I mean, hell of a lot better last night if the freaking Eagles could have finished the job last night against the Falcons. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Look, I have no love for the Falcons. I have no love for Kirk Cousins.
I understand.
I hate their uniform. They have one of the worst looking uniforms after having some of the traditionally best looking uniforms back in the 80s with the Reds.
Agreed.
But I hate the Eagles. I have to hate the Eagles more than any team ever. And it gave me great pleasure to watch Nick Sirianni and the Eagles lose to Kirk Cousins in prime time for the first time he's ever won in prime time.
Yeah.
So great.
That was, and the way he lost the game. Oh my God.
Terrible decisions.
So many bad decisions. I will not put the decision to throw to Saquon Barkley in the flat as one of them.
Right.
Make the catch, bro. It's like the Bucks, you call a good play, you don't execute it, it's not on the play caller. At least in my mind. A lot of times. But this, you got to execute. You're an NFL freaking star running back that makes $18 million a year. Catch the freaking ball. I mean, that's all there is to it. Luckily, he got me over the hump on my fantasy last night. Basically had Bijan against Saquon, and all night long you were tied and we're going back and forth. It's like whoever got the ball last was going to win.
Yeah.
Because both players were really good. But Saquon got that done for me. But man, what a depressing loss for. I'm not sure. I hate to say this, but there are probably a lot of wives that got the business end last night in Philadelphia from those fans. And I hate to say that, but it's just disgusting. But those fans were nasty. And you imagine how mad they were last night, those Philly fans. Can you imagine oh my God, they took it out on the dog, the kids, the wife, everybody. Everybody got some last night after that. And that was, but listen, that's all about finishing games, and that's what makes, as we transition to the Bucks, that's what makes that Bucks win so much sweeter. I went back and watched some of the tape yesterday and this morning too, and I love it, man. It's like if you're an aficionado of defense and tackling and physicality and will and hard work and effort and busting your ass, which I'm a big fan of all those things. You witnessed it on the football field. Football, we talk about this all the time, Timmy, right? The reason we love football, because it's a metaphor for life, right? It's a metaphor for so many things. You gotta be prepared, man. You gotta work your ass off in practice. You gotta bring it at game time. You gotta be smart. You gotta be physically tough. You gotta be mentally tough. You gotta be all those things. And then you gotta execute at the moment when it's needed most. And it just brings out the best in men, in people, and everything. And that's why I think it's why we love the game, right? It's such a test of all of that in each and every moment. And some teams rise to the occasion and some don't. I was actually texting with Jason Light yesterday, and I just had to congratulate him because that's his kind of win, man. That is his kind of win. It's you go and you get these undrafted free agents like Christian Izzy, and you look at him play and you're like, yeah, he might be too slow, he might not be big enough, but that dude can tackle, and he has a competitiveness about him, and he's a smart football player, and those are the guys that GMs love, right? It's easy to pick Mike Evans. It's easy to pick Mike Evans, right? He's 6'6", he catches everything.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Jason Light. But going and finding guys in the third round, like Tyke Smith, who showed you that he was sick all week, gets off the bed and comes out and balls his ass off with incredible energy and effort. It wasn't perfect, but man, you just love to see that effort. Jordan Whitehead, he just a badass baller and knows how to play football and knows how to stick his face in the fan. You could go down the list. Zion McCollum, holy shiz, has this kid become everything that Jason Light thought he could be? I mean, you're going to find a kid from Sam Houston State who can run, is big, is long. I don't know how the hell the kid lasted till the 5th round. Jeez, Jiminy Christmas. How do you? But they go and they find these guys, and then they train them up. And let's give Todd Bowles a lot of credit and his staff, and Kevin Ross and Carberry on the offensive line, all this staff, a ton of credit for training these guys up and making them competitive and go out and ball out. And again, it's a 20-16 win on the road. It may on the stat sheet, it'll never be, a Picasso. That's for damn sure. But I'm going to tell you, Jason Light and these coaches will circle that win as the day that this team showed Super Bowl character. I know that sounds like super hype, but I'm telling you, we've talked about how special this team is, the camaraderie, all off season, Tim. You want to just regurgitate every time I talk about the culture on this team, right? It's just different. It's just different. And this is what I'm talking about. This is how it manifests on the field into W's. Because I know people say, oh, culture, blah, blah, blah. Chemistry. What chemistry is, if you're winning, it's good. If it's bad, if you're not, it's bad. And I get all that. But the bottom line is you sense certain things with teams, togetherness. And I'm going to tell you, every championship team I've covered, and I've covered a lot of them, there you get that magic. You get that sense that everybody's rowing in the right direction. And opposite, you come in and you watch teams and you go into a locker room and you listen to people talk and you do interviews and you walk out going, they got no shot. Yeah. These people are all headed in the wrong. Guys are calling you over and that was, they're just locker room lawyering and all this. You're like, oh my God, this is going to be a disaster. Back in the Schiano days, that happened a lot.
Oh, God.
To Kirk Cutter, Lovie Smith, a lot of that stuff. They get to a point where the players just don't believe in the coaching staff.
Right.
And this is anything but that. This is exactly the opposite of it. And I'm glad that it produced some very tangible result, a very tangible result in the first 2 weeks, really, where you could say this is what we're talking about. You don't go into a game with that many guys down, lose that many guys against a team like the Detroit Lions with all their firepower and get out, gain 463 to 215 and win that game if you're just a team. No. And here's the other part. That galvanizes the team even more, right? It brings everybody together even more. Now you've been through the fire. You went and did something that very few teams could do. It builds your confidence. So every time another team comes into the red zone and they get a fake punt or they convert another 4th down, you don't hang your head like oh my God, here we go, right? No, you're like, okay, we did it in Detroit. Let's freaking go. Let's go. We got this. Let's rally to the ball and tackle. And that's what they did time and time again. And I think I'm telling you, I think the Lions were like, these guys just won't quit. These guys, I mean, you get to a point on the other side where you're like, holy hell.
It just beats you down.
What more can we throw at these guys? And they just keep coming. And it breaks your will. And I guarantee you, if you ask Dan Campbell after he watched that tape what he thought, I think, number one, he'd be proud of his team because they fought their ass off. They didn't quit. But he'll also say, damn, those guys were animals.
Yeah, I have a feeling you'll never see a Dan Campbell team quit on him ever. No, you'll never see that as long as he's a coach in the NFL. That's just not their thing. And you're talking about culture and does it matter? Is it real? I feel like the Bucs got a picture of the other side of that last year with the Eagles.
Yes,
look what happened to them late in the season when they're 10-0 and leading the division by 2 games over the Cowboys. And all of a sudden we have reports of conflict in the locker room, JP. Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni are not getting along. and there's sides being chosen on the team, and you have all of this conflict inside the locker room and on the team, and now they start losing, and they lost the division, but they still make the playoffs, and then you have to go into Tampa Bay and you lose, 31-9 or something ridiculous like that?
Yeah.
That's because of culture. They have all the talent on the team, but because of the culture was collapsing. And I don't think it's been repaired 100%, by the way, in that team. Because I guarantee you, Jason Kelce was a voice of reason for that team.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't help.
And he's gone. Well, and he's gone, so he's not there anymore. But on the other side of it, you get a team like the Bucs, and when you have a good personality in the team, in the locker room, a good culture in the locker room, good leadership by the guys up top that do this, it can make an average team good. It can make a good team great. And you're seeing that with the Bucs. Dude, they don't have all of the talent in the world on their squad, but they're being coached well, they're being led well, and they have a great leader in Baker Mayfield on the field who can elevate every person on his team because all they want to do is win for him. Yep. And they want to win for themselves because of him. And that's what that does for a football team or any sports franchise. Then you get a team like the Dallas Cowboys, who, when it's all questioned, it makes a good team terrible.
Exactly.
God, what an embarrassment.
Yeah, can you describe the culture of the Cowboys right now after that embarrassing beatdown by the Saints?
Yeah, there's one word: lost. This team is lost. They have no direction. And I even said this after they beat the Browns in week 1. That was impressive, but it was against the Browns.
Yep.
All right, Browns are not good. Deshaun Watson's not good. They had both their starting tackles were missing off the offensive line. The defense got 6 sacks, but against them, I saw holes in the defense in week 1. And dude, they got exposed in week 2 to the point of embarrassment on national TV at home. You lost your 16-game regular season home winning streak, because we had to pull out the actual home winning streak. We had to take that out of the term when they lost to the Packers in the playoffs last year at home. So now it was just a regular season winning streak. Well, now that's gone too.
Right.
And it was Dak's fault. Of course it wasn't Dak's fault. He didn't have a great game, but he didn't have a horrible game.
Yeah, the defense was awful. The narrative now on the Cowboys is that they can't play from behind. That defense is just made to play from ahead and get after you. They can't stop the run. They can pass rush you. They can't stop the run. Their base defense is not good. And that's the knock on them. And it seems to be about right. Now, I'd also say, I didn't watch the whole game, but I watched the highlights, and bam, Rashid Shaheed certainly can get behind the defense. David Carr, and a lot of praise
Carr
given to Kubiak, their new offensive coordinator, who was taking the, the Saints needed to move into the 21st century offensively. Drew Brees is not there anymore, and they're still running the Drew Brees offense. It's like, okay, that guy was an elite decision maker, pre-snap read elite decision maker. You can't work that, with all due respect to any other quarterback, whether it be Carr or Jameis or whomever. Right. You got to move on. And clearly they've changed everything. And Alvin Kamara looks healthy again. So damn. But I still don't believe in the Saints. The two teams they played both have flaws. With clearly the Cowboys defense has a lot of flaws. Yeah, I think the Saints are a good football team. They're
and it's easy to defend against the pass in Dallas and cover CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks and Jalen Tolbert when the Cowboys have no running game.
Right.
There's no fear of the running game against Dallas. So yeah, you're gonna have 7 guys in coverage, and you're gonna stop every pass, and they're not gonna get deep plays, and CeeDee Lamb's not gonna get 150 yards every game. It's terrible. And by the way, JP, the city of Philadelphia lost again this morning because it came out on our media media reports that DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan area, has surpassed the metropolitan area of Philadelphia as now the number 4 media market in the country.
Oh, we have a change into top 10.
We do.
Dallas moves into number 4, and Philadelphia, the Northeast,
falls to 5.
Rust Belt City falls to 5. And it was people, as these liberal bastion cities exodus continues. Can you blame
to fall?
Them?
Yeah.
Can you blame them? No, you cannot blame them whatsoever. And by the way, so the commenters are already in this. So last night, Devin White was a healthy scratch. Okay.
I was wondering why I didn't see him on the field.
I didn't check his Instagram yet, but I'm sure all mentions of the Philadelphia Eagles are now gone because he was scratched by his team. Yeah, I'm sure he's already on Instagram talking about how he's going to save the Cowboys defense. So, get ready for that. That's coming.
Oh God, no.
Yeah. But I will say this, it begs the question, and I hate to be critical of the Buccaneers at all, but what took you so long? What took you so long to get rid of Devin White? He's not even good enough to play anywhere else, to start anywhere else. And we've known that for 2 years. The guy's a complete knucklehead. Yes, he helped you win the Super Bowl when nobody had realized yet what an undisciplined football player he is and how easy he is to take advantage of in scheme. And we had way too long of that and should have traded him and got something for him. But we didn't, and we kept putting him out there, and that's a bad thing. If there's a blind spot in this organization, it's sometimes they take way too long to make changes when they need to be made. But that's nitpicking at this point right now.
Yeah,
but that's all, and that's all we need to say about Devin White. We're moving on. Good luck with that, Philly.
Couldn't happen to a better team.
And the best news maybe of the day yesterday was Vita Vea. Vita Vea, grade 2 MCL sprain, which I would think would keep him out a little bit. He certainly doesn't need to play this week against the Broncos. I would be shocked if he played this week against the Broncos. You should be good enough to beat this team without Vita Vea, but maybe leaving that out there so they have to prepare is probably not a bad idea. It gives you an advantage. So I would say that's probably a pretty good idea. But that's good news because it's not long term. It's not. I thought it might. It could be up to 6 to 8 weeks. You don't know. It depends on the severity of the sprain. So you get the MRI. How much was torn? How much can they repair? Go get it done. They'll stem cell that sucker up and hopefully repair those ligaments pretty quickly, and he can get back out there. So that's good. That's the good news, and that's about the only real news we had out of the Bucs in terms of injuries. We'll see how everything else progresses. The calf injury to Kalijah Kancey continues to be the thing that I am most fearful about because, again, without him and without Vita Vea, this team cannot do anything special. They can win a few games, but you're not going to do anything special like you should be able to do this year. So hopefully they can get both these guys, maybe, get another week of rest and still beat a Broncos team that looks pretty disheveled. Is that a good word? Mm-hmm. They're just, Bo Nix is not the guy. Did you see his answer?
Yes.
Which was kind of funny, actually. Said, I ask this question all the time because I want to know the mechanics of the interception because you don't know if it was a bad route, if it was a bad throw, if it was a bad call. So you kind of ask the quarterback, what happened on this interception, take us through it, or same thing for touchdown passes. I try to ask those questions as well. So we said, he's asked, can you take us through the interception? He said, I dropped back and I threw it to the other team.
He's already defeated in week 2.
I'm like,
Sean Payton's got to get a hold of it. And I've never been impressed with Bo Nix, ever. I never understood the hype behind Bo Nix. He was awful at Auburn. He was good at Oregon, right? Or was it Oregon? Oregon, yeah.
Listen,
I just never saw
Pac-12 where every mediocre SEC quarterback goes to get drafted.
Yeah, to get drafted.
That's the only thing about the Pac-12 breaking up is now the SEC quarterbacks and other quarterbacks won't be able to go out there and get their draft stock or their NIL stock up like DJU. I'll go play at Oregon State for a couple of years. I'll look serviceable as a quarterback, and then I'll have to come back and play East and look like dog shit, which is what he is. And which I'm going to kind of transition here to one of our other top topics, and that's Mike Norvell at Florida State yesterday during his press conference. And I'm shocked that nobody asked the direct question. Like,
did you want to take a quick break before we transition into college?
Let's do that. A quick break. We'll do that, and then we come back. We'll talk to Mike Norvell. And is Lane Kiffin going to Gainesville? God, I hope not. As a Seminole, I hope not. He's got a good team at Ole Miss. Come on, Lane. What are you doing? So we'll talk a little bit about that. We got lots more Bucs coverage with Scott Reynolds and TJ Reeves coming up. So don't go away. Quick break. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Scott will be joining us on Thursday to talk about the latest revelations in the FSU lawsuit. And if you need any legal advice whatsoever, just call them. You get free case evaluation, free questions. Call them. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com, contact them through the website, email them, or call them, and they'll tell you if you have a case. How good is that? Tell them JP sent you. Back in 3. Discover a world of elegance and sophistication at the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're searching for your first piece or celebrating a special milestone, their expert team is here to guide you every step of the way. Navigating the world of fine jewelry can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Their knowledgeable staff is dedicated to helping you choose the perfect piece, ensuring you feel confident and informed. At the Gold and Diamond Source, they pride themselves on offering only the highest quality jewelry. From stunning engagement rings to timeless watches, each piece is crafted with precision and care. So take advantage of their 5 years interest-free financing. This means you can get a $5,000 piece and only pay $83 a month. And if you're new to buying diamonds, their first-time buyer program will educate you on the 4 C's: cut, color, clarity, and carat, and help you understand the different shapes and sizes available. Go enjoy the great staff at the Gold and Diamond Source. You'll be family forever. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the U.S. Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the JP Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. They'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance. Make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799. ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Noles.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Topper Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this beautiful Tuesday in the Tampa Bay and Dallas areas. Well, maybe not for Dallas.
I woke up feeling great this morning. The Eagles lost. I'm okay.
Well,
Aggies won. Red Raiders won.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, the Aggies did win. Who did they beat?
Put me on the spot like this. I'll watch the whole damn game Saturday too.
Florida. They beat
the Gators,
bro. Yeah,
that's right.
And we're brought to you by.
It was.
We're brought to you by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo, big Gator fan, as miserable as the FSU fans. Historically, these two teams starting this bad, it's never happened. But Bay Area Modern Medical Center is where you go to get healthy mentally too. Yeah, you can, if you're a Gator fan and you're down, or FSU and you're depressed, go to Bay Area Modern Medical Center and Chris Lugo will get you right. Yes, he will. He'll help you out. BAMMC.com is where you need to go there.
I need to talk to Chris about this new thing that I've experienced recently called sports depression. Does he have any boost for that?
Get your tea right will help with that. Getting your tea right will keep you more even tempered. Absolutely. I think that's right. Now, but alcohol, you know how to do that. I think you know how that drug.
Oh, that's the best cure for just about everything. Yeah, except for ED.
I think you're well experienced with that. You got something for that as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Sorry again. May have been a tally hair that sneaks into the.
It happens.
Everything when you have dogs, right?
Yeah.
All right. FSU, Mike Norvell. I watched the whole press conference. I think he may be debate prepping with Kamala. I really do. Every time it was the biggest bunch of gobbledygook I've ever heard in my life. It was, what are you going to do with DJU? I was born into a middle-class neighborhood.
What?
That's what he said. No.
Yeah.
Some of you get that. It was just, I like the way he's preparing. And he gives us a chance. I'm like, what are you effing talking about, bro? I love me some Mike Norvell. I am such a huge supporter of him. I think he's created a great culture. He's authentic. He's just done a fantastic job. But I don't know what the hell has happened in this offseason to this dude. Even his press conferences are just full of gobbledygook. There's no, you just get no assurances that he knows what the hell he's doing. Him and Napier both. I know at least they do them. At least they do press conference. At least our football coaches are accountable to the people. Other people don't have to be, but I guess our football coaches have to be. And that's the way it should be, by the way. There was no direct question about what are you doing with DJU? How do you not get Brock Glenn a chance? There was a question at the end about, how are you dealing with Brock and Luke as they watch, paraphrasing, as they watch this disaster, talking about Brock Glenn and Luke Kromenhoek, a 5-star recruit, by the way, quarterback recruit. I go, what do you, well, we got to manage that. And of course, I want him to be that way. I want him to be hungry to play, blah, 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 blah. You're breaking the resolve of everybody on your team by continuing to let DJU ruin this season. And I know he wants to say in practice, we see it, and he's practicing against a terrible defense. How do you even think you get a look in situations where it's not real football? He's not getting rushed like he's going to get hit. How could you be making evaluations based on practice when you can see in the game he sucks? It's unbelievable. I just don't get it. And he says, he sees that we have a competitive advantage with DJU. Where does he see that? It's mind-boggling. And
it's a lot of coach speak right there.
And I saw, FSU Twitter, it exploded yesterday after the depth chart came out and then the press conference. And and everybody's like, oh, good. At least I can change my weekend plans now. It's going to be half full stadium. He's lost the fan base now. He's completely lost the fan base. And you can't do that, especially in a 55,000 seat stadium that you now have due to renovations. And it was about half full on the alumni side at game time last week. It's going to be even worse this week against Cal. You've lost the fan base. And I don't know if you've lost the team. From what I've heard inside, the players are still fighting. Yesterday, one of their big recruits, or 5-star recruits last year, Charles Lester III, Charles Lester III, tweeted out hashtag free them youngins. Free them youngins. And it was liked by his fellow freshman wide receiver. I'm with you, brother. Hashtag free them youngins. Get them all on the field. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for, Mike Norvell? Sit down the guys that don't want to play and have no heart. Put in the guys that want to play. You've got a lot of good, young, talented 4- and 5-star players. Play them. Play them. What do you got to lose this season? A few games? Well, the season's already lost, bro. Ridiculous. And as I look at University of Florida, Billy Napier was asked yesterday about his job, and he's like, no, 100%. I'm not even thinking about that. And I think he has a lot of support from within the school. I don't think he's going to get fired. Now, he goes to Mississippi State, who just got beat by Toledo by 24 points at home, and loses that game. Things can change. I don't think they're going to fire him midseason. Now, all the scuttlebutt on every freaking message board is Lane Kiffin's going to the Florida Gators. My worst freaking nightmare. Because FSU, would I rather have Lane Kiffin than Mike Norvell? Yeah, I would. Yeah, I probably would. Because I think there's, with Mike, everything, up to December 3rd last year, everything was great. And then what happened with the snub and everything that happened after that, I don't think they handled the Orange Bowl situation very well. I'm not sure there's anything you could have done as a coach when the Flayers realized what happened. It wasn't just a snub because of Jordan Travis. It was a snub for politics. And, if you're and they lost a lot of recruits because a lot of recruits are being told by Georgia and Alabama, why are you going to go there? You're going to get penalized. You're never going to play for a national championship. Now it's a 12-man playoff now. Yeah. You should be smart enough to know if you win your conference, you're going to get in. But still, that it's, kids listen to this stuff, and it hurt FSU and continues to hurt FSU. And Mike now cannot blame anybody but himself if he continues to go down this road with DJU. I just don't understand it. And for Billy Napier, his recruiting class for next year is ranked 25th, I think, by 247 Sports. That's 10th in the SEC, only above Vanderbilt in terms of number of players and 4 and 5 stars. That ain't getting it done. The only thing saving Billy Napier has been his recruiting, and he got some good players in the portal. But if you can't turn that into wins, you're not going to keep your job. You're just not. So both of these teams are in peril. And for FSU, I think it's fixable in a lot of ways. And it starts with the quarterback. But if the coach isn't willing to do that, and now he's lost the fan base, I think I can say that. This is a spiral that continues. And Cal may just come in there this weekend and beat their ass. And that's embarrassing. I mean, it's how much more embarrassing can it really get, really, at this point?
I have thoughts on all of these things, but we'll get to that after we talk to our buddy Scott.
He's still fixing his hair. You got 30 seconds. Go ahead. Yeah.
Is there a possibility, and look, I've brought this up before because I think it exists in college football now in this age of NIL, but is there a possibility that he's just under orders to do what he's doing? And that's number one, that's why his job is still secure, because he's not going to get fired for doing what he's told, even though it's not in the best interest of the team. It's not putting the best, most passionate players on the field. It's not giving their team the best chance to win, but he's just catering to sponsors because pressure from the team.
I don't think that's the case. I don't think, and that's, it's very rare that any one player is tied to a sponsor. And I think but if you were sponsoring DJU right now, would you really want him out there sponsor?
Being part of that.
Speaking for your car dealership, come by a Ford down here in Tallahassee. Ford,
break down on you,
and I'll drive that thing right into a flaming dumpster.
Because wouldn't it do the opposite? Oh, DJ sponsors Fords. I'm buying a Chevy.
Right, exactly. So you'd be like, yeah, keep the money, bench him. That's fine. And tell everybody I said so we can get back in the good graces of Seminole fans. I think that's how it would work. I will say this, though, and as we bring in the great Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report to join this conversation. Good morning, Scott. And your hair looks great, by the way.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
When I watch Florida State and Florida play, I see so many elementary and fundamental mistakes.
Yeah.
Like they are horribly coached teams. And I say, you know why? A lot of it, these kids have not been in the system very long, and they've changed systems, and it takes years for kids to learn systems in college.
Yeah.
And this is why I think the play is so shoddy now, because you have so many new kids coming in, trying to assimilate, learn playbooks, learn things. And back in the old days, you didn't play until you were 2 years in the system.
Tom Brady had a great video about that. And he was lamenting, like, this is about learning playbooks now, not learning programs. And there's a huge difference. And sometimes it works. Sometimes you have a guy come in and he can, change the face of a program, whether it's in college or the NFL. And sometimes you can't. And I think we're seeing that now, certainly with DJ in Florida State. Now, from what I understand, he does have an NIL deal where it's with Pepperidge Farm. Did you hear about this? He's sponsoring their turnovers, their cherry and apple turnovers. So
and they're soft cookies. They're baked soft cookies.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, hats off to him for cashing in, but
NIL, baby.
It actually makes sense. It's kind of a good tie-in when you think about it, but
it really does.
But no, I kid. It's unfortunate. I was just kind of like lamenting the other day. It's like, I don't know who I might have talking to Adam Slavon in the Bucks locker room about this. We were talking about college football. Maybe it was Matt Matera. And I'm just sitting here thinking, all right, like, look at the state of Florida. All right, just look at Florida. And let's do the traditional hierarchy, all right? Not to rub it in, but like the traditional hierarchy.
Right.
Florida State, Miami, okay?
The big three.
And then let's throw UCF in, because they're a Big 12 school now. They've leveled up. They had a nice win over TCU on Saturday night.
Very nice comeback.
So there's those four. There's USF kind of knocking on the door now, right? That's five. Okay, but let's just say for the locals, right? The Orlando and the Tampa crowd. Let's say those are the big five in the state.
Yeah.
Then you also have FAU and FIU. That's seven. That's seven major colleges. Am I forgetting anyone?
No.
Those are seven. Okay. I'm sorry, Texas, but this is the Florida football scene down here. This is the hotbed for high school talent, right? You have three states. You have Florida, you've got Texas, and then maybe Colorado, maybe Ohio. Like it's kind of those. Then Pennsylvania's probably in the mix after that. Okay. So there's seven programs, and you've got a kid from Washington State now at Miami, a kid from Clemson and Oregon State now at Florida State, right? And the Arkansas kid is at UCF. My whole thing is, how many out of a state that has this many talented quarterbacks right here in the state, how are you letting these guys go? How are you not getting the best guys in the state to stay at your schools, to where you got to go out and cherry pick from other teams in the portal?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's really the fundamental flaw.
Yeah.
Is it's like what in the world? Like, I'm just saying, not that it's happened all the time, but it's like, Kansas State, my alma mater, like, we have a Kansas quarterback in Avery Johnson. We didn't let him out of the state. He's a top 10 quarterback, and he stayed in state. So it comes down to recruiting too, and keeping the best talent in the state, because you can look around the country. There are other better quarterbacks out there from the state of Florida playing and starting at other schools. How did that happen?
Yeah. Look at Rocco Becht. Never got an FSU offer.
Exactly. Rocco Becht. All right. I coached him for 1 year at Pop Warner. I had nothing to do with his success. That's his dad. That's Anthony Becht, not me. But I'm saying I know Rocco Becht.
How'd you miss on that, FSU?
He went to
Florida.
Iowa State, beat my Wildcats last year.
Yes.
Beat
Iowa on the road this year.
Iowa on the road. He was
Unbelievable
the Big
game-winning
12
drive.
freshman of the year. Started as a redshirt freshman. Yeah. Like, how? Come on.
Yeah. It's bad, and it's you got to get the quarterback right. You got to get and you know what Mike did with Jordan Travis. He saw something in him, and he Max Johnson came calling. A bunch of other guys wanted to play here, and he stuck with his guy. Yeah. He stuck with his guy, and it paid off. This time he recruited a 5-star and a 4-star in Brock Glenn and Luke Crumenhack, and Trevor Wilson, I believe his name, is another Florida quarterback. Really good, talented young quarterback. Yeah. Why not trust your recruiting and let those guys fight it out? Yeah. Use that DJU money for a defensive lineman might work. Or a linebacker, for God's sakes. And you win, and you panicked.
Yeah.
Now there's some scuttlebutt about, the new GM at UFSU that came from Oregon State.
Yeah.
That may have,
the package deal, whatever. Yeah.
Whatever. But you missed. And you can rectify it because they're still on your roster, and you stick with DJU.
Yeah, you're exactly right when it comes to the quarterback makes the program, whether it's college or pro. That's just how it is. Kansas State had Skylar Thompson, who's now the backup in Miami to Tua. And, he's not a starting caliber quarterback, but he's in the NFL. He was an all Big 12 type quarterback. We go from him to Will Howard, who won us a Big 12 championship, knocked off undefeated TCU. Mm-hmm. Then we recruit Avery Johnson, a 4-star.
Maybe the best of the lot.
Yeah, and he was so good. Will Howard saw the writing on the wall and left before the bowl game to go to Ohio State. So in some ways, Will Howard leveled up from little old Kansas State to Ohio State. He's the starter now. Good for him. He
was the second best quarterback on Kansas State.
But he was the second best quarterback in Kansas State. So when you have that pipeline going, and my God, man, if you can do it at Kansas State, you can do it at Florida State. Okay, with the talent of riches in this state compared to, having to battle KU, which is not hard, but we have to battle other schools coming into Kansas and plucking the few guys that are really good in state. But in Florida, there's enough to go around. There's enough where Florida State, USF, UCF, Miami should have good homegrown quarterbacks here. I don't understand how some of these guys escape. And honestly, FAU and FIU, they should get the scraps. They should be getting 3- and 4-star quarterbacks from Florida to come to their programs. It just baffles me.
It happens everywhere, though. That's true here in Texas. Texas is just as much of a hot spot for high school football. We've got great quarterbacks that come out of here. Quinn Ewers chose Ohio State over Texas. But he's back in Texas now because he couldn't get on the field in Ohio State. Jalen Hurts picked Alabama over any Texas school. He's from the Houston area. It happens, especially now.
Baker Mayfield grew up a Longhorn. He wanted to play for the Longhorns.
And nobody wanted him.
Yes, he had to go to Texas Tech, which was like, and he wasn't happy there. So then he said, all right, how about now, Texas? They're like, no, thanks. They're like, fine, I'm going to go walk on it at OU,
and win a Heisman for you.
And win a Heisman,
But, I just feel like especially now in the world of NIL, it's going to be even harder for some of these in-state schools to keep their own guys because, out-of-state schools, they're going to have the money to pay guys to come out of state if that's what they really want to do. So it is what it is.
And just maybe to put the period on the college scene, and we'll talk about the Bucks here, but it's like, when Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks came to Tampa Bay in the same draft class, one from Florida State, one from Miami, they knew each other. They played against each other in high school in Florida.
Our games,
exactly. So they already had a little bit of a bond, a little bit of a common interest, a little bit of a common DNA in terms of winning.
But they came from winning championship programs.
They did, but they also came from this state together. And my whole thing is, why can't there be more chemistry? Because we were talking about like how, you stick the guy from Oregon State in, and sometimes it's like, oil and water not mixing, right? Because it's about the program, not the players or the playbook.
Right, exactly.
And if you get guys that battled each other, that maybe played with each other in the state. I mean, we have this kid named Dylan Edwards who left Colorado after 1 year. And he had a punt return for a touchdown against Arizona. He and Avery Johnson played Pop Warner together. Okay? and Avery recruited him from Colorado. I covered his dad, Leon Edwards, who was a small running back at Kansas State when I was there. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's you want to build a program, get guys that are familiar with each other, recruit the Florida high school quarterback, and then let him recruit the top wide receiver and tight end and defensive back in the state. I mean, to me, you can still do that in the NIL. You should have enough money at Florida State, whatever, but keep the kids
I'll take a 3-star Florida kid over a 4 or 5-star Indiana
Utah
kid,
or Colorado,
California kid, any of these other places, because the level of competition here is so good.
Yes.
And the coaching in Florida is so good.
Yeah.
You can trace this back to FSU in Bobby's later years when most of his coaching staff left. They became a national brand and they just started recruiting off lists. You know, and like we can get a kid from California, we get a kid from Oregon, we get a kid from I don't care, man. Yeah. I don't want those kids. I want Florida kids. I want South Georgia kids. I want Texas kids. Yep. You stay there, Alabama. You just stay right there. You're going to be fine. You start, this kid in New Jersey wants me.
That's right.
Yeah. You know, sometimes you'll pluck a
Sometimes
guy.
it works, but I like the homegrown kids, the chemistry, the camaraderie.
I agree.
It makes a difference. That's what makes a program. Still, that can happen in today.
All right. Well, here's your nice segue. As you say, it's about camaraderie. It's about chemistry. And Scott, you and I, and this was part of my monologue today, you and I have been talking about the special bond that this team has, the chemistry that it has, and the culture. And some people hate that. And I'm like, listen, it will manifest itself in wins. Watch. And this game, more than any other, showed you that if you got a group of guys that are going to stick together and battle their ass off for each other.
And for Todd Bowles.
And for Todd Bowles, yes.
Todd Bowles.
You know, you can win games. And this was Exhibit A, baby. Exhibit A. The whole TAM team was depleted. And when I watched that tape last night, I was like, and it was the same thing I saw in game day. Yeah. Heat-seeking missiles everywhere. I mean, these guys were just
breaking on the ball. Yeah.
Oh, my God. I mean, the ball was thrown. It was like the 2002 Super Bowl defense, man. Remember when that ball was checked down?
Yep.
I mean, it was like
I didn't see a
Matrix,
lot of soft zone cushions in that game. There was 9 pass breakups in that game.
How about
9. Okay. And listen, no one loves sacks more than me. Okay, maybe Warren Sapp and guys like that. But
we'll use that as a drop there, Timmy. Grab that.
Yeah, as someone who, come on now, get your mind out of the gutter. Talking about
you're dealing with 16-year-old boys here.
Scrotums. Okay? Jesus Christ, JP, expect more from you. Disappointed.
Scrot.
I'm just saying. Seriously. Okay.
Go ahead.
So let's stick to football. Okay. So. When it comes to getting quarterbacks on the ground, I am a big proponent of that. I prefer that over pressures. And there's like this gray area in between the sack and the pressure. Because I got a great picture that our photographer, Cliff Welch, took. And if you remember when the Chiefs came in on Sunday Night Football, this was like after the hurricane and stuff. And the Bucs had to go down to Miami and practice and then come back up. And the Chiefs just annihilated them. It was like the revenge game for Kelsey and Mahomes. Rashad White fumbled the opening kickoff, right? So that game, that was a game where there was a corner blitz. Carlton Davis had Patrick Mahomes dead to rights. Okay, we have a great picture of it. He's up in the air like this. Shaq Barrett is in the air like this as well. Those are 2 pressures on 3rd down. And Mahomes sidearms it for a 1st down. Okay. Right. So you can pressure a quarterback and it might not matter. I remember in the season opener in 2022, which was at Dallas, Dak Prescott was pressured like big time. But he still completed a lot of passes in the first half till he went out with that injury, the thumb. So pressures don't always tell the tale of the tape. Sometimes pressures lead to interceptions. Those are the best kind. But I like quarterback hits. Even that quarterback hit that was late by Yaya Diaby, right by the sidelines, where he drilled a very unsuspecting Jared Goff. So the Bucs had no sacks in the game. Okay, fine. Yaya Diaby had 7 pressures, including a pair of hits. The Buccaneers had 11 quarterback hits. Greg Gaines had some hits. C.J. Brewer had a hit. Anthony Nelson had 3 hits. Yes. Those hits, Levante David had a hit on the blitz that was picked off by Christian Izzian to end one of those drives in the 4th quarter. Those hits, 11 of them, were more than Jared Goff had been hit or sacked combined in the 2 previous games.
Wow.
So even though Goff got sacked 2 times in the playoff game, 3 times in the creamsicle game back in week 6, okay, those are good plays. But the accumulation of the hits, those body blows, affected his accuracy, I believe, as the game went on.
Agreed.
And when you can come away with a 4th quarter last year in the playoffs that about 180 yards in the 4th quarter, I think, and 2 touchdowns that won the game for Detroit. The 4th quarter this year, in those 4 Lions possessions, there was a punt, an interception, and 2 turnovers on downs that ended drives at the 11 and the 36-yard line. And that was one hell of a game plan, one hell of an execution And I think the hidden stat in all of that is the 11 hits on Jared Goff, and I think he was pressured 24 times combined. So,
you mentioned the fourth downs, and this is something I was saying yesterday. It's one thing to stop a team 1 for 7 in the red zone, which I think is the first time that's been done since 2000 in the NFL. But they had 4 downs because of the point differential. I'll be in 4 points. They had 4 downs to drive. I mean, that is a layup for most teams. When you have 4 downs, it's such a huge advantage. It came into play last night where, it's kind of a weird thing, but if you would have, if they were only up by 3, if Philadelphia was up by 3 instead of 5, I guess it was, or 6, whatever it was, the chances are the Falcons come down to kick a field goal. They play for a field goal, and at least you get overtime. But when you create that separation, you give them 4 downs to get 7. And when you play shitty defense like that, you're going to lose, right? But so that makes it even harder. You had to stop them on 4 downs, and you did it. After a fake field goal, after going for it on 4th down and making it. This team just never quit. I don't think I've seen resolve in a defense, especially a depleted defense, with
they wanted that
great
win
offense.
Bad. They wanted that win bad. The thing is from the first quarter on, when Tampa Bay took that 6-0 lead, it should have been more, but 6-0. From that moment on, and keep in mind, there was a time where the Bucs lost the lead, but then came right back with the Baker Mayfield scramble for the touchdown. But at the end of each quarter, the Buccaneers had the lead. They had the lead in the first quarter at halftime. They had the end of the third quarter lead, and they had the lead at the end of the game. And you could just smell the blood in the water, and the Sharks were going to eat. That's just how it was. They knew that they wobbled the Lions from the get-go. That first interception by Zion McCollum, which actually I called, by the way. I called that on a Peter pregame show. He would get his first career pick.
Wow.
I did. And I also picked the Lions to lose.
You bet on that?
I did, yes.
Nice.
Swami says.
I won a ton of money on Kansas State on Friday night over Arizona Big and on the Bucs beating the Lions.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. But I'm not very good at betting, but every blind squirrel.
Your Bucks. Bucks. Yeah.
But having said that interception right off the bat, I don't know that it rattled Jared Goff, but it gave the Bucs defense a ton of momentum. Go back to that playoff loss in Detroit. Jamel Dean had an interception right in his hands, right in front of Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he dropped it on 3rd down. So now the Lions, they're like, kick the field goal. And it's like, there's big momentum swings in games. And that momentum swing in January was like a little bit for the Lions. Okay, we got the field goal. We didn't throw the pick. And it was like deflating for the Buccaneers, right? And so it wasn't like this massive swing, right? But in a game that was like this, it created that, and that makes a difference because that can be an accumulative thing. Then all of a sudden, if you're not scoring, then it's like that. And then all of a sudden the game gets away from you. And that's kind of how that playoff game went for Tampa Bay.
Right.
But this one, it was like this, a little bit of momentum for the Buccaneers, a little bit of for the Lions, 3-0. That's not the end of the world. But the Buccaneers kept it at this the whole time.
Yeah.
And then they increased it. And so that's what I love about football, more so than any other sport. I believe it is a game of momentum. And as much as we dive into analytics,
a game of
analytics are cool, and they can tell you cool little facts and trends and things you should do. But at the end of the day, you can't measure momentum with a statistic, and that's what I love about it. It's a pure, visceral game that's played with emotion, And if you don't show up, you're
analytics cannot put a number on that.
That's right,
and that's where people fail.
Yeah,
Timmy, you want to jump in here?
No, I'm just enjoying listening to Scott's expertise here. I'm shocked at the Zion McCollum prediction. Actually, I'm sort of rattled from that.
And this is my next thing because I love
actually texted him before the game. He was going to get his first pick too.
There you go.
Really?
You positive.
That's a positive I was.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So, I talk about this all the time because one of the great things I learned from Brady, he was so relentless about making your team better week after week after. It had nothing to do with what your team looked like in week 1.
That's right.
And if you go back and look at all these Patriot teams, you go, because they just got better each and every week. They were so good at self-evaluating, predicting what other teams were going to do, but getting better at what they needed to get better at. And you saw that during the Super Bowl season. Boy, did you ever. They just grew into this like freaking machine.
They were a juggernaut.
And even in the 13-win season, you saw it as well. And so when I look at these games now, I'm like, okay, so where did we get better? What did we learn? Zion McCollum.
Yeah.
Zion McCollum is an elite corner in this league. He has had the confidence. He always had the tools, but he didn't have the confidence and know-how. Yeah. And now he's got that.
He's jumping routes. He should have had 3 picks.
Jumping routes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
I talked to him about this like 2 years ago, and he's like, he goes, he goes, I don't know when to go. I'm trying to play. I don't want to get burned, but I don't know when to go. And now I'm starting to feel I know when to go. And when that light comes on, that's a game changer for a guy of his ability. And so I see that in that entire secondary. I think, without Antoine Winfield, got better in this game and gained confidence.
Heath Smith is so good.
And the linebackers, so Servassier, Tyke, these are guys moving forward now that have confidence. And I actually was texting with Jason Light about this, and he's like, now these guys know they can go into a game in a backyard brawl and come out winners. That is, I can't tell you how valuable that is in the NFL.
Go back to the Super Bowl season in 2002, JP. And if you remember, the Bucs lost, I think it was due to a blocked punt in the end zone in John Gruden's debut against the Saints, right? So they lost that game. Week 2.
In overtime.
Yeah, in overtime. Week 2, they went on the road and they beat Chris Redman and the Baltimore Ravens. And Derek Brooks had a massive pick 6 in that game. I want to say it was like 19-0. It was something like that. And that showed the Buccaneer defense, hey, we got to score touchdowns to help this offense out.
Right.
And we can be as dominant as we want to be. They shut out the Ravens. They destroyed them that game. They smothered them. It was a far cry from what happened in week 1. It was one of those gritty, tough, barroom brawl type of games. And I think this Lions-Bucs game was akin to that.
Yeah.
It showed this defense that, we don't need Kalijah. We love Kalijah. We want Kalijah. We don't need Winfield. We love Wynn. We want him. But we can win with CJ Brewer and Greg Gaines if we have to, right?
So invaluable.
It is. Just like Aaron Stinney helped this team win a Super Bowl, right? When Alex Kappa broke his leg and they stick him in there and you keep moving. Servassier Dennis is going to be an absolute star, and so is Zion McCollum. The thing with Zion, I remember talking to him in the offseason, and I said, I can understand every time you go out to practice field, you're putting on a performance for the coaches to determine where you are in your progress, right? And if you jump the route and you guess wrong and you miss the pick and it's a touchdown, it looks really bad on the film. And the coaches remember that in the back of their minds, and they say, not yet. We still need to leave him on the stove. He's still cooking. And I went to Zion and I said, are you going to use this OTA and the training camp time to just be aggressive and just jump routes? Because guess what? They gave you the starting job. They traded away Carlton Davis because of you. Yeah. You have the starting job. So is this what you're going to do? He's like, that's exactly what I'm going to do. He's like, I'm going balls to the wall. I'm going to try to jump everything, knowing that these coaches have confidence in me. So if I miss it and it goes for 6 the other way, okay. But the coaches and I want to see me go that way for a 6 with the ball in my hand. And I'm capable of doing that.
That's coming.
And that was the smart play by him to use this offseason to just say, I got the job now. Okay. Yeah. The coaches took me off
use
the stove.
It to get better.
I'm ready to eat. And use it to get better. And he did that. And Jordan Whitehead, we got to talk about Whitehead for a second. 11 tackles. I mean,
that one run blitz where he came off the corner.
Oh, yeah. That's vintage.
It was so good.
Is he the best offseason acquisition?
I think so. Yeah.
The Bucs. Liam Cohen.
Yeah.
Well, on the field at least.
On the field, yeah.
Oh, here's what I love about Liam Cohen is, he was really down after that loss because his offense didn't play well. But there's a couple things that I liked about that. We saw Dave Canales kind of get bogged down in things that weren't working, and he never switched it up at any point in time.
No.
What I liked was in the second half, he sees Baker Mayfield scramble for 12 yards, and he's like, okay, well, if we can't run the ball, I'm going to run Baker. And then he calls the quarterback draw. Like, it was a huge play call, right? And then to get Bucky Irving going laterally on those end arounds, I thought was very creative and effective. I know that Detroit did some things to take away Chris Godwin in the second half for sure. He didn't get a single catch. But how many times have you seen, and I, as an old Pop Warner defensive coordinator, I loved it when offensive coordinators went away from what was working. Okay.
Right. Yes.
And it happens so many times.
See Saquon Barkley last night.
Exactly. Yeah. but it's like Liam Cohen's like, we're going to keep feeding Chris until you stop him. And of course they did, and good for them. But it wasn't until
they had to give
7 catches, 117 yards and a touchdown later. Okay. Which is a great game for some people. That was a half for Chris.
Yeah.
But I love that about Liam Cohen. He's not afraid to this isn't working. We're going to go in a different direction. We're not going to stick with this and just bang our head into a wall. Mm-hmm. Or if it is working, man, I am going to baffle you until you stop this. Until you come up with something to stop this, I'm going to keep hammering this. And I loved it. It's great offensive play calling. Nothing can stop an offense more than an offensive coordinator who just doesn't get it, because at any level of football, Pop Warner, high school, college, pro, if something worked, God, man, go back to it. And that's what I never understood about Bruce Arians. He would run a great play.
And he wouldn't go back to it.
He wouldn't go back to it. And I remember asking him at a press conference, and I said, hey, this play went for like a cheap 11-yard first down. Why didn't you go back to it? He's like, oh, defenses are too smart. They're going to catch on to that. No, they're not. No.
There's a reason it worked, and it wasn't just because you called
the
play. They executed it pretty damn well. Yeah.
Try it again.
Yeah, I would say that.
Make them prove to you that they have figured out how to stop it.
Real quick, Scott. I wanted to stay in the NFC South, but I wanted to get your thoughts on Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think this decision came from Dave Canales? Does he have enough pull in the organization in week 2 of his career to pull their number 1 draft pick from a season ago?
It came from Dave Canales, but he had that meeting with Robert Tepper, the owner.
Sure.
And Robert Tepper has a way of making a point known. Dave, I love you. I know neither you nor I are happy. I'm just paraphrasing. I'm just
feel
imagining.
Free to pull the trigger.
Yeah. But we
Mike
want to win,
Norvell,
Dave.
pay attention.
We hired you to win. Okay. Yeah. Developing Bryce Young, a quarterback that you didn't have any say-so in drafting, nor did Dan Morgan. I mean, that's secondary.
Right.
So we need to win, Dave. So the problem with this is I was a big Bryce Young proponent because I saw him annihilate my Wildcats in the Sugar Bowl. But sometimes that quarterback is all about the talent around him.
Yeah.
And you don't know that. Was it Johnny Manziel? Was it Mike Evans? We didn't know till we got to the NFL. They were like, oh, it was Mike Evans. It wasn't Johnny. Johnny can't play, right? And you see that sometime. Nico Collins is okay receiver. He has been leveled up by C.J. Stroud. Tank Dell is an okay receiver. Yeah. He has been leveled up. Great quarterbacks will elevate the play of those around him. I grew up in Kansas City. Our arch rival was John Elway until he had Shannon Sharp.
That's right.
He had nobody to throw to. He went to the Super Bowl and got crushed by Doug Williams. Oh. He had Ricky Nattiel to throw to. That was like the leading receiver. So great quarterbacks can elevate those around you. Sometimes, though, like Matt Leinart was just a product of having Reggie Bush and Lendale White and all those guys around you. You put him in the NFL.
Line. Yeah,
it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So Bryce Young, I'm not a fan of 5'10" quarterbacks. You give me a 6', 6'1" quarterback,
165-pound quarterbacks.
Too small.
Even worse.
Listen, he's not as good as Jameis Winston. He's not as good as Andy Dalton. He's not as good as Marcus Mariota. These were guys that were first-round picks that have enough talent where they're sticking around as a backup because that's really what they are at the end of the day. They had their chance and they're a backup.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, nobody's going to want him. He's not even good enough to be a backup quarterback.
Right.
And usually greatness shows itself early. Mm-hmm. Usually there's glimpses. Go back to Jameis's 2015 season, 5 touchdowns against the Eagles, no interceptions in that game. The touchdown dive to beat the Cowboys 10-6 back in 2015. In his second game, he goes toe-to-toe, throw for throw with Drew Brees and gets a win in New Orleans with 1 touchdown and no interception. Usually,
he had some great moments. He did.
He did.
Incredible
He was a
moments.
tease. He teased you with his talent.
He just couldn't turn it off. He couldn't turn off
the turnovers, right?
Yeah. He just never knew when the play was over.
Exactly. 18 games into Bryce Young, we haven't seen it. And my God, man.
Nothing.
If you play 18 games in this league and you have shown nothing.
And what they traded to get him, that franchise is done for 3 years. You can't come back.
They're done for 3 years because they're in no man's land. Yeah. Bryce Young, I mean, if I'm Carolina, I'm trading him to Miami right now and saying, Mike McDaniels, your system's the only one he can play in the league. So you take him, we'll take a third or fourth for him. Maybe he helps revive your season. We'll take a fifth. Get rid of him, move on. He's not the answer. Then you got old man Andy Dalton. So you've got the worst roster in the league still. You've got no quarterback of the future. Your quarterback of the present is a year or two away from retirement. He is not somebody to build around. And then you don't have the draft picks. You're losing a second-round draft pick next year after you lost your first-round pick this year.
Yeah.
And you traded away your best players, McCaffrey, Brian Burns, DJ Moore. That's a franchise in no man's land, going nowhere fast. I feel sorry for Dave Canales. He had to take the job. You only get so many bites at the apple. Mm-hmm. But Carolina will be the doormat for the next 5 years, unless they have a Houston Texans type draft and get C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson and just a windfall. But I don't see that happening.
Yeah, and I feel like the worst thing that could happen to them this year is for Andy Dalton to come in and win like 6 games, right?
Yeah,
that would wreck the draft.
Yeah, exactly right. He might win 3 or 4.
Right.
But yeah, and the thing is for the quarterback guru, not the quarterback whisperer, that's Bruce Arians, but for the quarterback guru, Dave Canales, to come in after 2 games and saying, I can't fix this, Yeah. And that's the same thing that Bruce Arians said. He wanted Jameis. He wanted to come here and see if he could fix him. And, 31 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. I can't fix Jameis.
One bad press conference. Yeah. That's not happening.
Yeah, we're moving on.
Scotty, tell us how everybody can get the great content, my friend.
Tomorrow, Pewter Report preview podcast for the Bucs and Broncos. Bucs, I like them big this week over the Broncos. Bo Nix is the leading rusher for the Broncos, 60 yards. Okay. 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. So I like Tampa Bay to have a bounce back game offensively against the Broncos defense that has a hard time stopping the pass. Yeah. So you can check out our podcast tomorrow and Thursday at 4 o'clock on Pewter Report TV. We also have the Pewter pregame show every Sunday morning at 9 a.m., or I should say game day mornings. It'll be Thursday and Monday for those games respectively on Pewter Report TV. You can find all of our content on pewterreport.com in written form, and follow us on social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report.
All right, Scotty. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Great stuff as always.
JP.
Fantastic conversation. Always good times. Let's do this for 3 hours every day with you. Thank you so much.
Oh man, yeah.
We got work to do.
See you, Scott.
All right, we'll do a quick break here. TJ Reeves is waiting on deck, so we'll get him aboard. He was there for the entire game on the field, so we'll get his perspective as well. We're brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Let them shop your insurance around and save you money. If you don't have business insurance, you got to get that as well. 813-877-7799. Back in 3 with TJ Reeves. Discover a world of elegance and sophistication at the Gold and Diamond Source. Whether you're searching for your first piece or celebrating a special milestone, their expert team is here to guide you every step of the way. Navigating the world of fine jewelry can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Their knowledgeable staff is dedicated to helping you choose the perfect piece, ensuring you feel confident and informed. At the Gold and Diamond Source, they pride themselves on offering only the highest quality jewelry. From stunning engagement rings to timeless watches, each piece is crafted with precision and care. So take advantage of their 5 years interest-free financing. This means you can get a $5,000 piece and only pay $83 a month. And if you're new to buying diamonds, their first-time buyer program will educate you on the 4 C's: cut, color, clarity, and carat, and help you understand the different shapes and sizes available. Go enjoy the great staff at the Gold and Diamond Source. You'll be family forever. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Hey, Tampa Bay sports fans. This is 2-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Gettys Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Gettys Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Hey, it's football season, so we welcome back the FSU Football Report every Monday and Friday on the JP Peterson Show, sponsored by those huge FSU fans at Italiano Insurance. They'll save you money as well. Just do a quick insurance checkup, 813-877-7799. They just saved me $500 on homeowners insurance. Who's doing that? Yeah, they just shopped it around, found a better, cheaper company, and we got a cheaper price. And business insurance. Make sure you're covered or you could lose your personal wealth. That's 813-877-7799. ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Noles.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, one of South Tampa premier traditional Italian restaurant. We were recently voted number 3 on Open Table list of Tampa Bay's top 10 restaurants. We're very proud of that because we take great care of preparing each dish by hand with homemade sauces, pastas, only the freshest local ingredients. You won't see the big institutional vendor trucks pulling up to our back door. We get our seafood from local vendors. Sometimes I even drive out to Topper Springs and pick out our daily catch right off those boats. So stop by and say hello. Try our traditional lasagna, the fresh veal, some of our signature dishes like capelli al granchio, that is angel hair with lump crab meat, our branzino, that is a sea bass. We're located at 4205 South McDill, and you can make a reservation on Open Table and read all the great reviews. See you soon. Ciao. Grazie.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show right here on FanStream Sports, FanStreamSports.com, the FanStream Sports mobile app, and of course the JP Peterson Show YouTube channel and the FanStream Sports YouTube channel. JP, welcome back.
Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Well done, Timmy. That's what you are a pro at all these things. Speaking of a pro, let's bring in our good friend TJ Reeves. Sorry to be keeping you in that car waiting so long, my friend. The ads are just endless. We have just so many great sponsors.
You got to pay the bills. You don't have to apologize to me. So you hear me and see me all right. So I just have a question because this is on the phone and I have no idea because we want the video to look right. I want it to be what you want it to be. Is it good here or is it better like this? I don't know what you prefer.
I think
better
I like
here.
That. I think I like that.
While we do it live or better here. I wasn't sure which you like. Timmy, you voting? You like vertical or horizontal, TJ? Let's go vertical.
Horizontal, but it's JP's show.
Fills up the screen. Yeah, it fills up the screen. He's right. Yeah, horizontal fills up the screen.
Well, I say that because I want to make sure as I put the Memphis Tiger hat on that it is clearly seen here on the program. And let me say at the outset that you are my guy. You are my guy. All right.
I love it.
I am not coming after you. I do not beat up on the downtrodden, on those that are down and out. But there are several Seminoles that I know that are still currently in witness protection program in WITSEC that they don't want to answer the phone. They don't want to answer the text message. I don't know when we, and it's a we because I'm an alum, I don't know when we are ever going to beat Florida State again in football, but it did happen on Saturday. So I was not going to come on this program and not acknowledge this. I thought it was a 50-50 game. And Florida State, oh my gosh. I mean, how long do we want to go about that? So I had to sport this on the show. Forgive me, I'm agile, mobile, and hostile with Thomas Reeves Sr. because he's actually got a doctor's appointment that I'm with him on. He is Memphis State class of 71, so he sends his regards. He's not on the show, but he sends his regards.
Wow. What, did he have a heart attack watching the game?
No, I don't know, not him, but he's good. We're good, and I don't know that Florida State's going to be good anytime soon. I know you've been railing on that, but the interesting thing for Memphis, what's looming is the USF game, the South Florida game, especially if the Bulls pull a shocker, as you guys know, with Miami. Mm-hmm. Now the Memphis USF game in Tampa coming in October looms very large for the group of 5 slot for either one of them. We'll see.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble.
Yeah.
But, what you did was nothing special. You know, Boston College and Georgia Tech had no problem, and I'm not sure Cal will have a problem this week. So you unfortunately, it may, like in 10 years, you may look back and go, oh, remember when we beat Florida State, you know, if we bounce back. And you'll be like, wow, that must have been a big win. No, not really. You beat the 128th ranked offense in America.
Right. But it's still a win. It's still a win. And believe me, I did hear from a couple of Seminoles that were saying to me, well, we're going to get our season on track, blah, blah, blah. And I have reached them. I've reached them when it did not happen. I was around Gene Deckerhoff Saturday night, and he goes, oh, my gosh. He saw me. He said, oh, my gosh, because I had the Memphis shirt on that I put on social media. And I said, me and Gene, you did plenty of games with the Noles beating the crap out of Memphis State or Memphis back in the day, including the Peter Tom Willis game that we referenced last week with the 6 touchdowns in the first half. And he even told me that on the Seminole Sports Network, on the Seminole radio broadcast, they had him do a recreation, kind of come on and narrate that was kind of like their highlight of the week was him calling Peter Tom Willis's 6 touchdown pass in that game. He's like, they had me on and they had me relive that, and they played the highlight from the 1989 game. Well, so all I am saying is that I was around Gene. I found you. There's some other Seminoles in hiding. I could name names, but I'm not going to do it here on the JP Peterson show. But I just thought I would don the Memphis cap to talk a little college football with you. And then I figured that you next want to approach this cap and the BUC. I have dual caps today, Timmy, JP.
You got props
the
like
BUC CANEERS Go Bucks is also on the radar.
I was just wondering if you watched the game Saturday sitting next to Tony Pollard.
No. Tony Pollard, you mean the Titans running back, right?
Yes.
Yeah, from Memphis, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this because I was talking to the Buccaneers running back coach, Skip Pete, and he saw me in the Memphis stuff. And he goes, what's your connection to Memphis? I said, class of 92, brother. And he goes, I had Darrell Henderson and Tony Pollard with the Rams as the running backs coach. Now he's the Bucs running backs coach for Bucky Irving and for Rashad White. And also Memphis has Antonio Gibson still knocking around on an NFL bench. Memphis at one point had 3 starting running backs in the NFL. How about that?
Yeah. He's in New England,
Norvell.
I think, right?
And
Antonio
Mike
Gibson's
Norvell
up in New England.
Yeah, he recruited all of them. And then he forgot
Mike Norvell, yes, and Justin Fuente before that. So Memphis has actually had some players in the National Football League as well. So there we go. But I know you want to talk some about this and about being there in Detroit.
When the games are this physical and the Bucs were just bringing it on every single play, when you're down at field level, it feels different. It feels different. Like I've been there and done that, and you're like, holy shit, these guys are flying around. Is that what it felt like? Because that's what
holy. You know what? There's Aiden Hutchinson again on top of Baker Mayfield. Which
we don't remember that.
I mean, that was tough to watch. They've got to do something differently. Hopefully, Luke Gedeke is healthy, but you couldn't take a 5 or 7 step drop like you were talking about on Monday. It hampers what you're doing if you can't get him blocked. You've got to do other creative things.
I'm talking about the Bucs defense, though, flying around.
Yeah, then the defense, and then on the defensive side of the ball, they were physical at field level. I know They rattled Jared Goff at the beginning of the game. No matter what he wants to say or any Lions fan wants to say, that initial interception rattled him. And I had somebody bring this point up, and I want your thought, Mighty One. Mm-hmm. When Yaya Diaby came over and gave him the chuck after the pass and knocked him over, I didn't think it was that much, but I understand why they call it. Somebody else was saying to me, they got in his head right there too. On even if you did not legally get to him, you've at least put it in his head. We're coming at you. We're coming after you. And he should have thrown 4. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. He should have thrown 4 interceptions where Jordan Whitehead didn't catch one in the second half and Zion McCollum over the middle didn't catch another one in the second half. And then he finally threw one to Christian Izzian in the fourth quarter that he did catch. So they had him off his game to an extent. And it was neat to be part of that because that was a fascinating game where stats don't tell the story. The Lions with 460 yards or whatever and ran like 77 plays, and the Bucs had like 200 yards and ran like 44 plays. So you would think that's a one-sided Lions win, right?
83 plays on offense on
83 plays.
83 plays and 33 of them in the red zone. And they got one
touchdown.
That's hasn't been done. 1 for 7 in the red zone, hadn't been done since 2000 in the league. And that, and to me, as I watched the tape, 90% of that was just well coached, rallying to the ball, getting pressure to get the ball out of his hands, and rallying to the ball, being aggressive defensively and tackling. I've not seen a team tackle like this since the 2002 Buccaneer team. Those guys would rally to the ball like freaking hornets. And that's what we saw.
Well, to your point, I got the chance to interview Servassier Dennis after the game, and I'll plug the Nothing But Bucks podcast, official Buccaneer recap podcast with all of Gene Deckerhoff's radio highlights and my post-game interviews after the game. And so wherever you get podcasts, Buccaneers mobile app, you can hear that. It's still relevant. It's still obviously cool to go back and relive that. But Servassier Dennis said on the interview that I did with him, Todd Bowles showed them third down after third down after third down in the 2 meetings last year on here is where they killed us. And we have got to be better, more disciplined. We got to rally to the ball like you're talking about and make sure tackles. And over again, they stopped the Rams on third down and eventually fourth down because the film study translated to Sunday. And it was, look, this win is not everything, but that is very reassuring to go up and beat that good of a team on the road while depleted on defense without your 2 best defensive tackles who were both number 1 picks and forces in the middle. You lost Vita Vea in the game. You were playing the whole game without Cansey. You don't have Winfield in the back end. And Jordan Whitehead and Izzian stepped up, making hits all over the field. That was very encouraging to watch on Sunday, and it bodes well for the future. Do you want the stat on a Tuesday morning on FanStream JP? That is a very encouraging stat about being 3-0 and the playoffs. You ready to go?
Yes, please.
All right, going back to the merger, which nobody now remembers anymore, the AFL-NFL merger 1970 and coming forward. As of the middle of last season, so this doesn't count 2023, 155 teams started the season 3-0 going into last year. 115 made the playoffs. 74% of the time, if you start 3-0 and get that head start, you are going to make the playoffs. And I realize they've expanded the number of wild card teams, so it's easier to make the playoffs. I understand that. But that is a great statistic in your favor while we talk about stats, that if you can get to 3-0, you've given yourself a cushion, games to play with for later in the year. It isn't everything, but it's something to be encouraged by if you beat the Broncos Sunday.
Well, I was most impressed with the performance of the defense on Sunday because of where they did it. They went back to Detroit with the playoff loss still fresh in the mind of a lot of guys that were on this team there in January, a place that could be easily intimidated because those fans in Detroit are still hungry for things to cheer for and root for. You've got your playoff team, your NFC Championship playing Lions coming back to town. They're in Ford Field, and you just beat the Bucs here a few months ago. So for the Bucs to go in and not be intimidated, to rattle Jared Goff early, which they did, and I don't feel like he's an easily rattleable, if that's a word, quarterback because he's seen so much, right? Even in a short, I call it a short career. For them to go in and do that, like you said, I think it bodes well for the Bucs, for the team as a whole, for the defense. In road games now, they've sort of set a precedent for road games. We've seen you can go into hostile territory. So now we expect you to do that in the Superdome. We expect you to do that in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We won't
at Kansas City, and that's going to be a tall challenge against the Chiefs later in the year on Monday Night Football. Yes.
Yeah. So this is exciting, right?
It is exciting early on in the year. A couple of other things because you love this from the sideline. The Chris Godwin plays right in front of me. What a play design out of the timeout.
I saw you in the background.
Obviously. Yeah. I was a Where's Waldo Easter egg on that one. I was right there because he faked like he was blocking for the screen by design, and then he just floated behind everybody. Well, I mean, tremendous design on that. And you're going to see more things like that as the season goes on, that they pull out, that they've been working on, they haven't shown yet. And you talk about 65,000 roaring, going nuts, and then just going dead silent. That's exactly what happened on Sunday. And right on the money. And then Baker Mayfield in the third quarter with the go-ahead and score. First, he does the shake move, the ankle breaker on the scramble, and then the design quarterback draw. It again went silent, which you love after that quarterback draw. And I will say this. He has this team. He's got the team in terms of leadership, being able to motivate, being able to have all eyes on him. They believe in number 6, and you could tell on the sideline. And why not? I mean, they were winning games at the end of last year and won a playoff game. So from a leadership standpoint right now, he is right where you want to be, number 6, Baker Mayfield, because they are following him. He's leading the charge. They're following him. You could see it at field level on Sunday.
You know, I hate to say this comparison, but it makes all the difference in the world because so many games are won in the fourth quarter. If you have confidence in your team, in their quarterback, to come back and win a game when you're down, and yes, Kirk Cousins did that last night for the Falcons. That's why you pay him, because he's a guy. You think they would have had Desmond Ridder confidence? No. And this is why it makes a difference. Your team hangs in the game. We're one score. We can do this. Even though they were getting, I thought Philly outplayed them last night. All you got to do is bet one score, give a minute left. If we got that quarterback that knows how to do it, we can get it done. Baker's that guy. And I'll say this, and it was part of my monologue yesterday. You couldn't run a football, and frankly, you couldn't throw the football. You couldn't drop back and throw. Okay, so what's left? Baker fucking Mayfield. That's what's left. He'll find a way.
Plays.
He'll find a way. He'll run around. He'll make plays. And the freaking offensive coordinator is going. When's the last time we called a quarterback draw in Tampa Bay? Well,
I agree.
When maybe back to it wasn't Jameis
and again
Jeff Garcia, I don't know.
You right. You might have to go back that far.
Yes.
You go back to the film study, and I know you got to roll out of here in a second. You go back to the film study. They loved the quarterback draw in the red zone on a certain look. And they said that after the game. Baker said that. Todd Bowles said that after the game. And as soon as they got that look after the scramble, no hesitation. Boom. He's right at it.
He's hot.
And so, again, give this team credit. Is it everything? No. But that is a very reassuring win. And now you have a chance to take advantage of a Denver team that's in disarray at the moment. Bo Nix, a young quarterback, making mistakes. It's going to be hot. They're going to be in the dark jerseys. And you've got a chance to take advantage of them on Sunday and get yourselves a cushion like we keep talking about in this segment. So I'm excited about all of that for this week, my friend.
2 home games coming up, Denver, and then the Sunday nighter against Philadelphia, or eminently beatable. We saw that last night. And then you go on the road for Falcons and Saints back to back.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting
good. Get the cushion. Get the cushion right now while you can. But these are going to be outstanding games coming up here. This is what you want. And I like their chances.
It's a Thursday night game, right? That's a Thursday
night game? The Falcons is Thursday night there, correct. And keep in mind here that the Bucs, you got to stay healthy. They hopefully will get healthier, but they have playmakers, and we saw that on Sunday. If the playmakers are healthy, there's enough veterans and enough guys to really do damage for this team. So this is going to be a lot of fun as we build up to the Denver game coming this week, my friend.
Sorry, the Philly game's 1 o'clock start.
That is correct. It'll be in the Heat. Then the Thursday night game with Atlanta will follow right after that. It's going to be a tough stretch. Philly in the Heat, then play Thursday night with the Falcons, then have to regroup in 10 days and play the Saints in New Orleans. That's going to be tough.
And the Ravens come in, which WMOR TV, I will be there doing your pregame show on that Monday night. And then the Falcons come in. Yeah, it's getting good. But when you win games like this, it gives you a little pad, right? And also gives you confidence to go forward where you can beat anybody, anywhere, anytime. And
the key here, I feel like the key here for the schedule is get to the bye week in week 11. You will have played the most difficult part of your schedule.
That's right.
Before the bye week, you've got San Francisco, you have Kansas City before that, you've got Atlanta right before that again. And then after the bye week, it's Giants, Carolina, Vegas, Chargers, Cowboys, Carolina again, and New Orleans again. Just get to the bye week with a
soft serve.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Cowboys in there, baby. Soft serve.
Very soft.
All right, TJ, love you, brother. Thanks for taking time. Hope Dad's all right. Give him our best.
He's good. He's good. I'm going to go check on him.
For giving that big win.
We're all good. We'll be with you next week. Whatever you need. Let's see what happens with the Bucs and the Broncos and everything else, brother.
All right, we're going to do one more quick break here. And then I'm going to come back and talking about that quarterback draw. I got a really sweet piece of audio with Luke Kuechly, who goes on with Kay Adams, talking about Baker Mayfield and that quarterback draw. So I'll do that. And a couple other notes. Quick break. We're brought to you by the great folks at Third Generation Plumbing. You got an AC issue, a plumbing issue, they do them all for you. Whatever you need really with your house, they'll take care of it. They can do just about anything. ThirdGenerationPlumbing.com is the website. Contact them through there. Tell them JP sent you. The owner there is John Rodriguez. If anything goes wrong, you call me, you call him. He will take care of it. They are accountable. They've been here for 3 generations. That's why people love them. ThirdGenerationPlumbing.com. Back in 3. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, your workout sucks, or your sexual libido is not what it used to be, check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That happened to me a few years ago, and I found out I had the testosterone level of a second-grade girl. That's not good. Our food, environment, and stress can cause your T levels to drop. Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help, and they are different. They offer customized hormone replacement for both men and women. Christopher Lugo and his medical staff can help you restore your energy, your sex drive, and your feelings of well-being. It was a total game changer for me. I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best of the business. Hey, if you love golf and the new Top Tracer virtual golf experiences that have taken the golf world by storm, well, you're going to love the new Top Tracer range at Rogers Park in Tampa. It combines the fun of competing virtually on the world's greatest courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with an outdoor range experience to track your ball, not just hitting it to that net. I love it. They have great brand new spacious covered bays, huge fans blowing down. It's very enjoyable even when it's hot. So grab your golf buddies. Great price, $25 an hour up to $45 at peak times. Balls are included, and you can also play the new short course for just $9. It's all at rogersparkgolf.net. To reserve a bay, go to rogersparkgolf.net. I'll see you there.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here, brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. Guys, you can shop there too. Got great stuff for you. Don't forget, you can get one of those great baller watches like that, baby. Very nice. You can get a nice necklace or a ring, something nice for you guys. Yes, men can get jewelry too. Hey, you know where to find them, 3800 Alberton Road, and always online at the goldanddiamondsource.com. All right, wanted to get to this piece of audio here, Timmy. It's just really good stuff. Luke Kuechly on the Kay Adams Show talking about the brilliant call and execution of the quarterback draw, which as a middle linebacker, he knows plenty about. Check this out.
Smartest play, the Kuechly. What is the thing that you saw that happened in week 2 that you can teach me about right now?
Okay, so we talked about this guy last week. I love him. He was in Carolina for a little bit, Baker Mayfield. Okay. So he had the touchdown run right here from the 11-yard line going in. So I think for a lot of reasons, it's a good call. The first thing that happened, the play before this, he scrambled for 10, 12 yards. And when a quarterback scrambles like Baker, the pass rushers have to rush, and then they have to backtrack and go chase him all the way down the field. It was obviously a pass, so all the defenders have dropped into pass coverage. They're locked on the receivers, and then they got to go run and chase Baker. So it's a longer play than you usually get. It's not like a quick run where it's off tackle, they get 4 yards, it's 5 seconds, or it's a quick 3-step game, 5 seconds, boom, ball gets tackled. No, it's drop back pass. If you're a pass rusher, you got to go. If you're a dropper, you got to go get your guy, and then you got to go chase him. So now these guys are tired. And then, boom, now they get right back on the ball. Aiden Hutchinson's been a menace all game. He had 1 million sacks. He had 5 of them. They spread him out, and then they run the quarterback draw. They blocked it up perfectly. Center gets up on the Mike backer, just gets in his way, and then Baker is Baker. It's one of those things with him. If he's near the goal line, he's going to score. He made a guy miss, and he ran through a guy's shoulder. So it's vintage Baker. If I'm the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baker has so much energy after a big run like that. The best thing you can do is just give it right back to him. We had the same thing with Cam. Cam needs to get hit. Cam needs to run the ball. And if he's feeling it, just keep giving it right back to him. And that's exactly what they did.
Great stuff there from Luke Kuechly, huh?
Yeah, he's not wrong.
No, but Baker and Cam Newton mentioned in the same sentence as runners.
Yeah, how you like that?
Baker's going to love that. I just want to give you that little piece of audio.
Yeah, you got to play off of that energy Baker Mayfield has, just like he said, man. Because you see how fired up he was after scoring that touchdown.
Yeah, and it's tough to run in the red zone, conventionally. So what a great play call! What great execution! That's what Liam Cohen was. Dave Canales ain't making that call. That's all I'm saying. It was a great call. All right, that'll do it for us here today. A little short, but I hope you guys enjoyed the program. Big thanks to Scott Reynolds and, of course, TJ Reeves and you, Timmy, as well. Don't forget, you can always enjoy this as a podcast on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. Don't forget to download the app, the FanStream Sports app, and, of course, like and subscribe to our YouTube pages, The JP Peterson Show and FanStream Sports. Have a great day, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. See you then.